Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and today it's time to do the auto guide for Final Fantasy X Trials of Reckoning Part 2 Valifor Hard Mode. Look, there's a lot of words. We're going to cook ourselves some space chickens on auto because that's the preferred way of farming this, and I can get 12k with this auto setup. So I'm going to walk you through how I did it, and even though you might not have the same units I do and all that, you can script your first turn. Let me just show you how I go about scripting mine, and then you can watch the playthrough to see if you can do something similar. Now, initial placement is a big deal on auto, and you want to put your units in the right spots, what I'm trying to say. For me, I have Yuna here in slot 1. That's that slot on the far left. What I want her to do is cast her limit break on the first turn. So she's going to come out here and do that to open up the fight. Then for me, I turned off all of her other damaging abilities except for her summon, which is a water-based attack to help me chain on the boss. So Yuna for me is all damage skills off except for limit break and summon, and then I start her in slot 1. Velric is in slot 2 for me, which is that very far forward slot, very close to the wind bird that I want him to kill. The secret for Velric is this. I want him to do two things for me. One is use Drain Assault on the bird. To get him to use Drain Assault, you have to turn off his moves like Maiming Slash, and you also have to disable moves like Hazard Break right here. The AI will prioritize those moves, even though Drain Assault will score you much more points because it does more damage and is hitting a weakness 3 times. So have that on, everything else off, and then for me, he will do an auto attack on the boss at a pretty good time. On his second turn, I'll walk you through that. For Titus is in slot 3. That's back in that cluster of 3 units that will spawn on this map for you. It's the very forward one. So I want Titus casting bells on his first turn. To accomplish that, the only thing I had to turn off was haste. He just isn't going to haste, or he's not going to cheer. I turned off his group buffs. This will ensure he uses bells on turn 1. Then he will move up and start hitting the boss on turn 2. When he's hitting the boss, I have just left everything on. He will naturally eject shot the boss for me on his second turn. That's great. Then he'll follow that up with quick hits and his limit break to finish the boss. And I have his agility tuned to do that. Rachel, she's going to be kind of in that like back middle area. I want her buffing on turn 1 and then removing haste from the boss on her second turn. To do that, I've picked the buff Sword Song formation to just enhance my damage a little bit here. So I had Banishing Barrier turned off. Then the important thing to do with Rachel is I turned Counterman / off because she can be in range to hit the boss with that. And instead, I'm going to have her use Slate Wiper on her first turn. This removes haste from the boss if she crits. So you want her to crit, which is why you want her to cast Sword Song formation, because this buff right here will boost her critical hit rate. Then she can take that haste off the boss. That is very big deal for this run. Then make sure if you have her at 120, you leave on her sustaining slash so she can be chaining for you. With Ildira, just like in the manual mode, I have her in the back right. She will hit Wateraga on the 2 wolves on her first turn. Then she will follow up with damage on the boss. Have her in her Spellblade sub if you're using her, so she can use things like Wateraga Blade to boost the slashing and elemental chain. So that's my setup right there. That's how I've kind of scripted my first 2 turns. Let's watch it play out so you can see exactly why agility tuning matters, because that's something you'll have to play with, is getting your units to go in the right order. Watch how I have this set up. I think it's kind of cool. Now I'm going to go ahead and slow it down to 1.5 so we can talk through it. There's Titus using bells. Ildira will use Wateraga on the wolves. That's a double kill. If she would have crit there, I'd have scored a few more points. She didn't, no big deal. Here's Sword Song formation, slash attack up and critical hit rate up. Yuna will fight Valifor by summoning her own Valifor, so that's pretty cool. We've got Valifor on Valifor action. Yo, you can't go wrong there. Nice crit, more points for me. Maybe this will be a 1200 or a 12k run. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Here's the Drain Assault. All 3 hits crit, very nice. That's 1 dead bird. Here's Valifor. His first turn is always this self-haste with magic up, so that's fine. Titus will now move into range and drop the defense of the boss. Hey, we procced it on the first turn. If you watched my manual video, you know that's not always the case. Now, Ildira will hit him with a magic attack here. And you might think that's not ideal. It's actually fine because we're not chaining yet. We have to drop that slate wiper on him right there to get the haste off. And now he will move forward, attack Titus, and that will be the boss's last turn. Yuna has no more damage skills on because she'll walk up and start trying to like holy the boss, so she's gonna buff. Velric out of AP will actually just start the slash chaining by walking up to the boss and auto attacking him. That's perfect. Yuna's just casting buffs on herself, so we don't worry about that. Ildira, with her slash attacks enabled, will now continue to build off the slashing chain with her Water Aga Blade. Very nice. Rachez, with her double hit move on, will sustaining slash, building that chain up. We're rocking it. And now comes the great part. Yuna, with her only damaging move being her limit break and her summon, will come in and summon Siren right here. This is big because this will drop the water resistance of the boss while also not breaking my water chain. The boss is very low HP now. Titus sees his opportunity to walk in, drop his limit break for, again, a big time water chain and a big overkill on the boss. So you can see how I have my agility tuned to get these things to happen in this order. That will allow me to get these about 12,000 point runs. We crit pretty effectively here. We didn't crit everything, so this might not be 12K. It might be like 11.8. 11.79. I was pretty close. So I could boost my damage a little bit from like Yuna by leveling up her limit break a little more, kind of ensure my 12K scores. But this is a very good score for auto, and it's a score that I'm happy to set down and just let the game farm this event for me for a little bit after I've gathered enough boss tickets. So I hope this was helpful. Again, if you don't have exactly what I have, think about it like this. Figure out exactly what you want your people to do on turn 1, watch them do that, and then watch what they do on the turns after that. Then go back in and say, hey, I don't want you using this skill. I'm going to turn it off. See what skills they will use. Adjust your agility to get them to go in the right order. And that's how you set up an auto fight for a Trials of Reckoning boss. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Good luck on your boss fights, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.